joke.
Well, if I think about it, I never remember the jokes. I just have to riff, basically.
Now I'm out of focus. God damn.
I see you got that
Joe? We are live.
Oh, I see you got that Barbara Stanwyck filter going again from Bonanza days.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think let me see here. I have a special guest for us today.
Really? What time? What Wednesday? All right, hump day guest. Cool.
Yeah, it's a special guest. Hold on.
I'm trying to find my futures, my Nikkei futures. Where are you? Here? No, here. No.
Joe?
Yes, sir.
Welcome our guest.
Wait, I can't.
I'm here today, Joe, to talk to you about the fact that I'm buying Binance. I'm going to free it from the clutches of the Chinese government and CZ.
I can't tell. Are you Putin or Elon or some combination?
It's Elon. If you weren't watching on your phone, you'd be able to know.
Okay. All right. I see here. Okay. Does it really look like Elon though?
Kinda. It does look like a Russian Elon.
Yeah, there's something in that. Is it morphing off? Is it running off of your face at all, or is it just putting one up?
It mimics my mouth.
Nice.
Oh no, if I look up and my eyes will open, and it mimics the eyes and the eyebrows. I'm firing everybody at Binance and Twitter. And I'm going to run the whole fucking thing myself.
You should, because you're no longer the world's richest man. Dave Chappelle says he's not bringing you to any more shows.
Let's bring up that fucking Tesla chart, because that's a fucking train wreck.
Well, wait, what are you down like 80 billion about now, right?
Dude, it's brutal. They all want me to come back to fucking work, and I don't give a shit. Just don't give a shit.
Hire people, man. I know this guy down in Miami. His name's Brad Nickel. You should hire him to run the show. He's not as obnoxious as you.
Drill, baby, drill. I'm no longer give a fuck about the planet. Fuck them all.
You're taking the boring company and turning it vertical?
Exactly.
Well, you might as well throw in one of those. What are those things, those space ladders, those things that go up into space? You might as well turn the boring. Yeah, elevator. Yeah. So look, turn boring company vertical, drill straight down for oil, and then hook up an elevator all the way up at the same time. That'll double your market cap, and you won't be able to deliver anything for 50 years. So you can just keep bullshitting for decades.
Look, I'm already drilling down in Tesla. Look, we're drilling down, way down.
I don't think you've quite hit peak oil yet, but maybe another 20 billion.
I don't know. All I know is I'm just going to fire everybody. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them all.
Well, you're going to sexually harass them on the way out, though, right?
Well, of course. Got to do that. I mean, how else am I going to have offspring? I keep fucking everybody that works for me.
Yeah, you can't be a Plutarch with a little sexual harassment, right? All right. I'm tired of looking at this guy.
All right. It was
Bring back the real Brad. Bring back the real Brad.
I know. I'm coming back. Here we go. All right.
There he is. All right.
Maybe that's where he is.
Shit, lots of exciting things today. I mean, you saw that a pack of influencers get indicted yesterday, right? Or this morning? I don't know. Last night.
No, I didn't see it yet. Oh wait, my camera's stopped.
Yeah, like 7 or 8 of them. I don't know the scam or what they were doing.
Last week, but oh shit.
It's not BitBoy and people like that. It's like a level down from there.
Okay.
So, but of course, everybody in the comments section is like, BitBoy must be sweating it, shit like that.
Oh,
but he's got lawyer money. So
for everybody, I just realized, majority of our subscribers are on podcast, and we just did that whole fucking bit, and nobody has a fucking clue what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, well, so Brad was using his sort of fake. What do they call those? Fake, deep fake video where it transformed him into Elon, and so we were interviewing Elon there, sort of. You got to work on that gut a little bit, buddy. Yeah.
And we loaded up the Elon chart, and I'm getting way too much sun to be Elon.
Yeah, but damn, Tesla is in the shitter.
Oh, dude, it's well, look, and I'll tell you, what's his name? Gerber. What's his name? Fuck. One of the biggest holders of Tesla is pissed. Like, he's not even holding. He used to be like totally Elon fanboy. He's a moderate Democrat. What did he say? Nicholas say?
Quote, I'm just going to fire everyone, end quote. I think the pod listeners can figure it out.
Yeah. Well, Elon responded to 17 hours ago, I will make sure Tesla shareholders benefit from Twitter long term. What are you going to do? Give out shares to the private company? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I'm sure all the, well, I don't know which, oh, wait. Yeah, no, I mean, the Tesla being a public company, there's certain restrictions there and certain procedures to follow, of course. You can't just say to your bazillion-dollar investor, oh, yeah, I'll make you good on the Twitter shit. And he's like, but you're already down 80%. What, are you going to give me the whole thing? Exactly. He's like, no, you just got to trust me. You got to trust me, man. You got to trust me. But at this point, how many companies?
Yeah, here's Ross Gerber from his firm is Gerber. I don't know if it's Gerber or Gerber. I think it's Gerber Kawasaki. So he's a big fucking Tesla holder, as well as on behalf of his clients, as well as an Elon fanboy previously. But he writes, so SpaceX has to answer to NASA on what's happening with Elon, and Gwynne Shotwell is there to assure NASA. No such thing at Tesla. The losses piled up, and the BOD is MIA, board of directors.
Yeah. Well, he's taking heat also. You follow that issue?
Interim CEO.
Did you follow that issue on Twitter where they supposedly took Ukraine off the list of countries? So now no Ukrainians can 2FA their accounts anymore or something?
I saw that also. So at first I was like pissed off. And then I saw that also South Africa disappeared from it. So I'm pretty sure it's just the numbfucks that he's hired to be the core developers not knowing how to load the fucking country list properly. But
no, it's just incompetence, not malicious.
Yes, I'm leaning that way. Incompetent leadership. But Peter Zeihan said that the impact is this. He said 85% of the Ukraine news and expert people reporting out of Ukraine have 2FA on using their phone numbers, and they can't log in to Twitter now. Because the Ukrainian phone numbers are no longer working. So it may be deeper than that. It may be that they are not providing it because their provider isn't providing it. I don't know. Yeah,
there was somebody else was speculating that I guess Crimea has the same, numbers as Ukraine as far as the prefixes or whatever. So they could technically get in a situation where, because Crimea is a sanctioned country, I guess, where they could get exposure there in interacting, with it. So I think but of course nobody wants to divide it up. I mean, the Ukrainians don't, of course.
Right.
So, it just doesn't look good if 85% of the Ukrainians now can't get into their accounts.
Yep,
after all the meetings with Putin and all the bitching about Starlink and everything else. Yep. Just something to watch.
Well, look, good news is we're loading up the Patriot missiles.
Yeah, I saw that.
For Ukraine. Now shit's going to get real.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's put it that way.
It's going to get real quick.
Yeah. I mean, particularly now that they've greenlit all those drone strikes on Russia.
Exactly.
The West has. So, it's not U.S. technology or It's not British technology. It's all Ukrainian or it's all Soviet technology, I think. That they reconfigured.
Yeah, they said that the last barrage of missiles from Russia were old Ukrainian missiles that the Ukrainians turned over in the last peace deal with them.
Yeah, when the Ukrainians gave up their nukes for border security from Russia, and the U.S. was a signer of that too, I believe.
Yeah, so
I bet they wish they'd kept those. I mean, everybody was scared of it, but everybody was scared because you want those to go rogue. So it was good taking them off the board from the West perspective.
Earth-shattering, groundbreaking news. Alameda had an unfair trading advantage and special access to FTX funds. Yeah.
What? How could that possibly happen there?
That's possible. They weren't front running people.
No, never.
No,
I am sort of surprised now at just the sheer ineptitude at the front end.
Yeah.
And, it just, again, everybody's, some of these like, so people that, are like writers and stuff around the crypto space, they're all like cracking jokes about, what we said yesterday that, they were on QuickBooks, I think at the end or something. And so they're all joking, oh, the VCs are all going to now be asking what accounting software you're on. And I'm like, the VCs are in there so early, they don't give at that point. If they knew you were running QuickBooks when you were a $5 billion organization, if it ever got that big, then they would be pissed. Exactly. But not at the front end. It's like they're supposed to also be providing you people to like, they put people on your board of directors that's supposed to be looking at these types of problems and fixing them. Yeah. Like there's, that have done it before. So again, I'm just shocked at the ineptitude all around here. Yeah. I mean, I'm not shocked, but I am shocked how big it was at the front end when everybody's supposed to be watching.
Exactly.
So.
I'm seeing differing numbers, but it looks like there was close to $7 billion in withdrawals from Binance yesterday. So all of the FUD guys were hyping the shit out of that last night and this morning. But of course, what they don't tell you is that the net withdrawals was 1.4 billion, which is not even in the top 5 days of withdrawals from Binance. So
they're not showing the onboards at all.
They're not showing the deposits, right? So everybody, they are working so hard to create this panic. And the funny thing was, I'm driving the kids to school this morning, which was fun for them. I was listening to a Twitter Spaces AMA with CZ, and he's like, look, that was less than 2% of everything we have. He's like, and he's starting to get a little, I think he's getting so fucking annoyed with the FUD that he's like, fuck it, because he went into this whole thing of, look, we are the top dogs. You can go to a number 2 exchange and you can get number 2 or worse security, and you can get number 2 or worse speed and number 2 or worse technology. But we have all the money we need to invest in security, in speed, in transactional safety, and everything else. So it's up to you. You are welcome to withdraw your money. You can go to your wallet as long as you know how to secure your wallet properly. We tell everyone, always secure your wallet. We have a Trust Wallet. We don't make any money on Trust Wallet. 14 million people use it. Go use that. It's safe and secure, but you need to know how to manage it. You need to know how to handle it because there's probably more hacking on the wallet. I mean, he was just like not holding back this morning. I think he's done. Like, just kind of done.
Yeah, I saw an exchange between he and your buddy Kramer. And, Kramer said something like, it wasn't sure if tongue in cheek or if he was literally saying it, but there was one where he said something like, oh, do you really believe this stuff of Binance is done? And the other was like, something like, I trust Binance or something like completely like that. And if that tweet was the one CZ responded to, like, don't fucking jinx us, you moron. He was like, no, because he knows he doesn't want anybody thinking Kramer's giving him a
Kramer fucking effect. Yeah, exactly. It's fucking horrendous.
I thought that was funny.
So I haven't had time to read this yet, but my favorite senator. I wish I had a picture of. I wish I had that.
Rick Scott.
I wish I had that deep fake video thing with Senator Warren's head on it. That would be fun.
Oh, I thought Rick Scott was your favorite. I'm sorry.
Oh, Rick Scott is definitely, that criminal is definitely one of my favorites. And I'm not using that word in a hyperbolic way. The man is a criminal. His company stole hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government Medicare system.
Yeah, they were convicted too.
Yeah, they were convicted. And he took the fifth. I think it was 70 something times during his depositions and testimony. He's a fucking criminal. The fact that, look, I'm not going to go off on that tirade.
Well, it's on the books. It's not like it's speculating.
Right.
You just got to Google it and you could see, I think it was like 454 sounds familiar to me, but some big number of Medicare, Medicaid fraud.
Yep.
And, and they took a guilty conviction at the corporate level, just like the Trump organization took a couple weeks ago. So those Florida, are like,
man. And then what do Floridians do? Elect the motherfucker to fucking Senate.
Yeah. Florida's, I don't even judge it anymore. It's like it's carnival barkers and charlatans down here. So
yeah.
But that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. So this article about the bill is focused on Bitcoin because it's at Bitcoin Magazine. But essentially, it sounds like, again, I haven't read the whole thing, so I really feel bad reporting on it, but it is the breaking news this morning. Essentially, it sounds like she wants to require disclosures, KYCs, et cetera, for any wallet usage, that kind of shit. Custodial and self-custodial wallet providers and miners must implement know your customer systems. It would also prevent financial institutions from interacting with privacy tools such as CoinJoin in an effort to limit the ability of users to maintain their privacy. While the bill focuses on such measures in order to curb money laundering, tools such as CoinJoin simply restore the user's ability to use Bitcoin in a way that more closely resembles physical cash. Blah, blah, blah. It says, according to the bill, it also calls for a rule classifying custodial and unhosted wallet providers, cryptocurrency miners, validators, or other nodes who may act to validate or secure third-party transactions, independent network participants, including MEV searchers and other validators with control over network protocols such as money services business, which would imply that Bitcoin nodes would be classified as such as well. So now she's basically saying any fucking person that's providing any infrastructure for any cryptocurrency is a money service business, which now requires licensing in each of the fucking 50 states, costs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the attorneys to build it up for you. This woman.
Wait, well, I don't get, what is this? Is this something that she like
a piece bill of she introduced this morning?
Oh. Yeah, good luck with that one. I mean, it's just not going to get through.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what? I never thought these words would come out of my mouth. And I'm going to say this right now.
I know where you're going.
I never, ever
He's going in the R direction.
Thank fucking God the Republicans control the Senate as it relates to this bill. Thank God.
Well, what do you mean?
Because they'll kill this thing. They're not going to.
Oh yeah, but they don't control the Senate. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
They're not going to give her a win. And we've, you look at Tom Emmers, who is, a despicable human being on every other issue. I mean, he's my hero on crypto. So that guy does not hold back on Gensler, man. He was all over him yesterday. And he told Ray, the CEO for FTX, he told Ray, I want every note, detail, email, chat relating to the meetings between Gensler and Sam Bankman-Fried. So he's not fucking around. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I don't want to get into the SBF shit, but if you're talking about Warren introducing this and asking for all this, I don't see how, it's like they're trying to get control of all the wallets. Okay. Right. And that's impossible.
Exactly.
Okay. You could have like maybe, you could compartment it, as we've talked about in the past. Maybe there's like a U.S. fenced in, kind of like this isn't a compliment, like the Chinese firewall, Great Firewall, but you could have a U.S. fenced in thing that just did regulated. And if you were coming into that from anywhere else, you had to do something. But right. I mean, what they missed the boat on is that go ahead and build the little safe garden, but shit, 99% of crypto is going to be out of the U.S. then.
Yep.
Running in London and Singapore and Hong Kong and everywhere else.
Well, what she's doing now, though, is she's forcing on end users KYC requirements, right? So now then the question becomes how she does this, enforces this with people that release downloadable wallets, right? And then you can use an RPC node anywhere in the world you want. So if you're using MetaMask or another open source, the DeFi Llama fork of MetaMask or Robbie or whatever, she obviously she doesn't understand this well enough because they can't stop that, right? We download our
VPN,
wallet, connect to an
VPN
RPC
to one of those countries.
Country. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not policeable. That's what makes it. It's just like a political statement. Go ahead.
Niblet says, so Senator Warren, criminals will just keep using suitcases of cash in banks like HSBC. I think that's what she's going for now. I think she's
Deutsche Bank, HSBC. Yeah.
She'd rather we launder it in USD. I mean, look, it's USD, right? So that gives her control.
She just must be getting just inundated with all the retail whining about how they lost money in something. And and she's on this protect the consumer binge. But
she's been on the warpath.
She's not getting all the info. Oh yeah. But I mean, this is just too much.
I think she's smart enough to understand. I think she knows she's lying in the Senate when she says the shit she says. I think she knows she's lying. I think she's bald-faced lying to manipulate public opinion because she wants to have control of the money. She's just like Brad Sherman. She's scared to death of the US dollar losing control of the world. The US dollar is not going to lose control of the world via cryptocurrencies. That's a long fucking way off. So, it's just, anyway.
Well, it could be, you're right, but it could be left behind in certain aspects of innovation, which I think are the more important things. We talk about maintaining technology leadership, and we talked a little about this the other day in regards to like chips and quantum and gravity physics and all these different things that, we're just not giving away the foundations of for free anymore. Well, this is the same thing. Yep. If you don't go high tech on, the capital front, to where you can increase capital efficiency. That is the market allocating capital to worthy projects. You want that faster. You don't want it taking months. You don't want to be taking a week to get a home equity loan. You want to do it in 5 seconds. All of these things that increase the velocity of capital are going to define the rest of this century and the next one.
Yep.
So if you basically, just fully sanitize it and put a regulatory cap on everything, we're not going to get that innovation. And so that's why I'm pretty sure the other guys that are much more aligned on economic and growth stuff in the Senate will just crush this.
Yeah, I agree. Toncoin is number 1 in gains in the last 24 hours, Joe.
I saw that again. I see that every morning for the last 3 days, I think. And I'm like, damn. What's it at, 270 now or something?
261.
Yeah. I mean, it's just...
Was there any more news yesterday?
I didn't see any, but there was an exchange.
Telegram did anything.
There was a little discussion going on LinkedIn amongst the lawyers, Lewis and Josh and them, and pulling up a letter from 2020 regarding Ton. And so I don't know if they replied yet, but because I'm not like in LinkedIn all the time. But I was curious because we all remember the ICO that was pulled. Where, they got the money, but then they returned it because they didn't want to get into securities issues. And then there was some letter that was written from the CFTC in 20, and now Ton is out, doing this. And so what I'm curious about is what's different from this to the last? Is it just the money raise side? Did they do a raise for this? And so I asked for some clarification, and I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, the original thing was that they raised $1 billion and
right.
The security, yada, yada, yada. So the SEC said, stop, you can't do that. So he handed over the code open source. I don't think they can do much about anything now. Telegram can build on the platform, and Telegram's blocking US investors. So, they're going to have a shit time trying to get Durov now when he handed it over and let somebody build it open source. So unless they try to get him for being the originator of the code, which they could relative to jailing developers like they are with Tornado Cash. So who knows? I'm looking at
but this doesn't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at their announcements channel on Telegram, by the way, which has 582,000 subscribers for Ton. And there was a new DEX that launched yesterday. And crypto exchange BitGet announced a listing of Toncoin, but I've never heard of BitGet. It says it's a top 15 platform on CoinMarketCap. It's interesting.
Wow. I mean, look, this can be, I'm telling you, this is going to be bigger than Stellar, Cardano, Tron, all those, zombies from 17. And I'm sorry, I'm not picking on anybody who's holding that. I used to have a ton of it. But I just think this has I just keep thinking, if you're running a network like this, and you start somehow deploying exchanges and stuff within that network and all the privacy stuff that's already built in, it's just another nice layer of security. Yeah. And to me, and then as you talk about constantly, and I do a little bit, you do mostly, the size of that damn community. Every token has 2 or 3 channels in there. Yeah. There's the official announcements channel, then there's the unofficial, hype channel, and then there's, other forks of those in a different, subtopics. But it's the natural place for all this. Yeah. And, that's why I'm excited about it. I don't own any. So don't get me wrong, I don't own any yet, but
Joe's
you know,
waiting,
it is.
Joe's waiting for the top.
That's right, man. Buy high, sell low, baby.
Look at this. I think this is the number for this pump. This is the reason for the pump. This BIC gets a number 11 exchange ranking and has a pretty decent 6.1 ranking on CoinMarketCap. $500 million in volume in the last 24 hours. So I'm betting. Let's see what the volume was on Ton.
Wait, and wasn't that $500 million down 33%?
Overall volume? Let me see.
Check that. Go back 1 second.
Yeah,
down
you're right.
Yeah,
down 30, but all volumes are down.
Yeah, but so that means they were doing like 800 billion the day before, or million the day before.
Exactly.
Yeah, compared to all the other numbers there, and I bet a lot of that is Ton, like you said.
I'm trying to see. Looks like CoinMarketCap hasn't updated the listing to show Ton on the list yet. Oh, there it is. No.
What did you say?
147,000
is all the volume.
Yeah. Now this may be through last night or this morning. I don't know when. This is probably from to 7 o'clock last night. For the 24-hour window. So can you go back a day? Can you possibly go back? It wasn't on. I don't think it was on there the day before.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. I think it joined. It hit today. It launched. It really. Oh no. So it's just hitting the exchange today. So
okay. Yeah. So that's what everybody's buying into.
Everybody's pumping it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like pricing on. Oh.
Amazing.
What's Niblet saying?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Yeah. If tokens are all ultimately priced in USDs, that's like pricing oil in USDs and gives the US economy the best possible position. She should embrace it. Yes, she fucking should embrace it. It's not going to change anytime soon. You know, the whole great awakening to crypto where that everything's denominated in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever is not happening anytime soon, people. And here it is, right? It's this, it's always the same in these technological advancements. People are so desperate and scared of losing control that they don't realize that they flip and embrace the tech advancement, that they will gain even more control, right? If you embrace it, if you foster it, if you grow it, if you encourage people to develop it in your country, this is the fucking financial system. And you say, hey, we're going to be transparent. We're going to open it up. We're going to use blockchain for our financial applications for the economy. That is the kind of shit that gives you more control over the financial system, not less. And instead, they're so scared and desperate that they're, afraid to let anything upset.
It's like they're trying to channel or coax it in one direction versus just letting market forces thrive.
Yeah.
And when you do that and it unleashes everybody's innovation, you get much better product and you get better like Scrum and better triage at the front end and better commercialization and better stuff coming out for commercialization. Yeah. It's illogical.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so look, if you think about, dollar supremacy, let's say, and then everything.
Senator Warren, you're fired.
Oh, you look. Oh, that is a funny looking thing, dude. The deep fake one. I can't. It's like, yeah, it's very
it's a little
multi-spirited. It's multi-spirited. Let's put it that way.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like it looks like a girl's face, baby girl's face, and sometimes it looks like a boy's face, and then sometimes it looks like your face. I'm like, what the fuck? Not your face, but I mean, just the whole like creepiness of it all.
Yeah.
But look, the point is, if you're talking about velocity of capital, which is why people come to the U.S. for the most part, business types, is the most efficient capital markets in the world. Some might argue it's other cities, but the bulk would come here. So you have to be in the platform that's going to be the future platform. And like you said, crypto doesn't necessarily end dollar supremacy or Western currency supremacy or whatever we want to call it.
Not at all.
Or the order of it. It bolsters it. Exactly. And it disseminates it further out into the microfinance markets in Africa and South Asia and places like that, South America, that all they want, is to get access to dollars. Because their local currencies are, very volatile, very crypto-like. So to me, I think if you're giving someone exposure to dollars in, let's say, El Salvador, where they are already going hardcore. I mean, they already do dollars. It's not a good example, but the point is, if you go somewhere like the Congo, deep Congo, you basically start bringing more people into the platform at the micro level versus the governments. And I think if we want these governments to be more, and I use parliamentary democracy because I think European democracy is a better model for most of these places than American democracy, for a variety of historical reasons. But I think if you can stimulate that at the grassroots level, the tribal level, let's say, then that could turn into something over 20 or 30 years where people are comfortable. And then that just extends the platform, which is what I would think all these people would want.
Totally agree. Hey, I interviewed Eden Yago from Sovereign several months ago. Going to get an interview back with again because they have a protocol, Zero Protocol, which is zero interest rate loans on Bitcoin. They are a layer 2 Bitcoin DeFi platform similar to Stacks. They've been going longer. They have more hardcore kind of integration levels with Bitcoin. And the team is a bit more maxi, I would say, but reasonable, not crazy toxic. But I'm really glad to see them growing, right? So 10 million TVL doesn't sound like a shit ton to us with everything that's going on in DeFi. But for this project, slow growth, careful. They're always working to try to be safe. This is a nice number. And so I'm really happy to see them accomplish this. And so it's been so long since I interviewed him. I'm going to get him back on the show and kind of talk about what they're up to, what they've been doing with Sovereign. Because Sovereign is more than just this loan protocol. It's a full-blown chain, smart contract language, can be built, settles on Bitcoin, just like Stacks, all that good stuff. But glad to see the good news for Sovereign because I think they do good work and I like those guys over there. So
yeah, no, we follow over there. Sovereign, Stacks, and what was the one that Sean brought up? Collider.
Collider is not. Collider is just a application. It's a centralized application, but it uses Lightning. It uses Lightning wallets.
Lightning. That's right. Got it.
So the transactions into their perpetual swaps tool can use the Lightning network. And the thing that Sean most likes about it is it's something he's wanted to do for a long time, which is building a stable coin off of a perpetual inverse swap model. So utilizing that to stabilize a stable coin. And he is convinced that it's the only way to create a true stable coin, algorithmic stable coin, is using a perpetual swap mechanism. He wants to talk tomorrow about Binance. We'll also have him talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Wait, what's today? Today Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. So
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Well, I guess my question is then, it seems to me that kind of like, I guess what I'm getting at is I agree with them that I think that this perp-based stables just make a ton of sense. But what I was going to ask you about, these guys better than I, but say like the Frax guys and, their algorithmic stable, how are they calculating that? Do you know? I mean, it's not perp-based, of course, but
no, it's not. Look, it's collateralization, which is a big part of what Frax does. And it's, I've got this preview of the baby up. It's kind of disconcerting.
The one that was wigging me out.
You know what? I'm not going to wait a minute. Let me just pull this up because if I speak to how it functions, I'm going to.
Yeah, we don't want to misspeak. We cover so many protocols and things.
Essentially, the collateral ratio lowers and raises based on whether it's over or below $1, right? So the mechanism for reducing and increasing the collateral level, I have no idea.
That's what prices it as a stable. Okay.
Yeah.
So it must just be somehow. Well, we don't want to drill in too deep. I think because that's something that I think. Well, I don't want to say I like those guys at Frax. Okay, so I'm not trying to say anything negative, but I think that I'm kind of intrigued by the Collider, the perp concept a little bit better at this point.
Oh yeah, that's it. I forgot. It's Frax shares, FXS that mediates the price, right? So it's the supply of FXS that goes up and down based on the price of Frax. So they took two models. I don't know why that couldn't come into my brain. They took two models of stable coins and combined them together. So it's collateralization with the dynamics of utilizing FXX to stabilize the price around $1. So supply and demand, increase, decrease, etc. So I'll post a link in the system for an explanation of exactly how it functions.
You see Niblet's comment?
I did not. Where is he?
He wants to compare it with the credit-based stables like Beanstalk.
Well, Beanstalk is based on lending and borrowing and lending, and completely different from what I understand between the two. They're basically competitive in the algorithmic stablecoin space.
But they're using two different ways to value, which is kind of interesting.
Exactly, and both have had great success. Frax at a much larger scale because Beanstalk had the governance exploit. Their algorithm was never exploited. And their algorithm has been tested the shit out of it with people dumping. So that's worked and been very effective. But they have not nearly the volume or transaction volume that Frax has.
Cool. My question.
Go ahead.
So I'll ask a question real quick. So is it possible? So we have one group, Frax, say doing it with, I guess collateral reserves around it. The other doing credit-based, Collider doing perp-based. I mean, is there any way to combine those three methods where you average the three outputs to have 3 points to triangulate the value of a stable coin?
I think that would be so highly complex that it would make it vulnerable to some attack mechanism. But the person I would ask to come talk about that would be Eamon. Because he worked within the Beanstalk ecosystem. He understands these models far better than I do. So maybe we should have Eamon come on. Eamon, if you're listening, we haven't had any comments from you today, but if you're listening, ping me. I'll ping you on Telegram. Would love to have you come on and talk about the different stablecoin models.
Maybe you can't do it all in one protocol, but what if you had like different engines, like a kayak of sorts, where you're aggregating the outputs of, like, maybe if somebody could develop something where you could calculate stablecoin value in different different ways to sort of, have some diversification of value creating of the value, I guess, setting approach, that then you're averaging 3 points now, which would be even more accurate. But I don't know if that has to be like three different things that then you would average the output, or if you could put all three load balancing things in one algorithm. I don't think there would be any. Oh, I shouldn't say that. There's somebody smart enough to figure that out. But from my perspective, you're basically in all of these cases having some opposing force that's either increasing supply of something to push down the price, increasing supply of something to push up price. But there's always these like two opposing mechanisms to hold that price around $1, right? And if you had in the mix multiple opposing things happening, I'm not sure that would be successful, but what do I know? You're right. Related, if an asset's whose price increases is a security, then what about assets with stable price but increases holder value with more tokens? Are stables securities? No, but like in the case of Frax, FXS was released as the mechanism token, and it also has the expectation of value increase over time, I think. So I think that would make it securities, but I don't think it would make the stable coin a security because there's no pitch to investors that, hey, buy a bunch of Frax, it's going to be worth a lot more into one day. Right? Yeah, I think that, when it increases holder value with more tokens, to me, that's more of like an interest rate payment. I think that's how they would look at it, but I don't think it makes the stable coin a security. But stable coins, there's a whole different type of regulation there, because if you want to talk about dollar supremacy again, this is their first tier targets are stable coins.
Exactly.
So, the securities thing wouldn't be your big risk point there.
Yeah, exactly. I stumbled onto this new project called, I don't know if it's new or not, but I stumbled onto this new to me project called Astral.pro. And this is a tool and I found it because I was looking at infrastructure projects. But this is a tool that allows you to come in and see projects. So they have stuff like, money raised and how much they raised and how new it is, et cetera, et cetera. But you can define them you can filter them by different categories. So this is the Web3 category. This is the infrastructure category. And this is a project I found that I'm taking a deeper dive into called Nillion, which is a decentralized infrastructure provider for data, etc., that is not a blockchain, but is in discussions with several blockchains to be the data storage provider for them, because it's a high performance, truly decentralized, encrypted data storage mechanism that is a network. So it's not like it's using AWS or whatever. But anyway, that's how I found Nillion, this project here on the list. But this is a really cool tool to allow you to filter. Look, there's none in gambling. Allow you to filter projects that might be in DeFi. They might be in, specific categories in DeFi, lending, etc. It's a really nicely done tool. So it's astrol.pro, astrol.pro. Really, really nicely done tool for doing research on projects, things you might want to invest in, et cetera, et cetera. And it's all oriented to fundraising and them being newer projects for the most part.
That's cool, man. Good find.
You know me, man. Finding the toys. Always finding the toys.
Right.
You posted up these tweets from @Jack. Jack has a lot of regrets.
What does it say?
Well, he did this whole long post about the fact that he really fucked up at Twitter. He wished he'd done things differently, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, the Twitter file shit, yeah.
Yeah, he wished he had focused more on autonomy than on beefing up security and safety people. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. The other day, I'm going to dox myself I don't think he listens, so I don't think it matters. The other day I reported an account on Twitter that was doing it's in the DeFi space, and he was an executive level person at a project that I liked, and has a lot of followers, and just ranting and raving anti-Semitic bullshit, nonstop. And he happens to be Muslim, and he rages about Israel a lot, but that week he decided he was going to rage about Jews in general. So I reported him, and it took a week. Usually when used to be when you reported an account, you get notification, but I got a response back that his account was suspended. So I don't know what happened to all that free speech, but I will say this: they're still policing things based on the rules they had previously. Anyway, Jack is going off about all of this stuff, and how he would do things differently and how he would build a better network. And the only reason I bring this up is, number one, Joe sent it to me, but number two, he also tweeted about somebody who's built a decentralized platform for social media that gets around some of the problems with Mastodon and some of the other protocols. It has some interesting solutions to it. But he also, don't forget, is building his own the protocol for Blue Sky, his project. So I think bottom line is this: we're going to see a lot of solutions come out of the gate for replacing Twitter and making it autonomous and open source, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is always going to be people don't have time. People are so addicted to Twitter and investing so much time in it, and they're using it to build their careers or their business, that they're not going to be able to invest the amount of time in 5 other social networks. It's just not doable.
Yeah. I can't even get to LinkedIn.
No,
hardly.
Exactly. And I had a bunch of engagement on LinkedIn the other day from the show, and I'm like,
me too.
And I'm like, oh man, I really don't want to put time into fucking LinkedIn. But I think there's going to have to be a catastrophic event for people to jump from Twitter. And then you're still not going to have critical mass at any one of the alternatives.
Yeah.
Those are the decentralized alternatives. And there's this new alternative that's centralized called Post, and there's a bunch of others. And at the end of the day, I don't think anything's going to get any real traction until Twitter fails. Right. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I think what's puzzling sometimes is, I see a lot of people out there with, 10 million followers, 2 million followers, and I see their tweets and they get like 1 like, on with all those followers. And I'm kind of like, I got a lot less followers than that. Okay. And I get a couple likes too, every now and then. So I don't get what is there really a ton of engagement going on there? I just don't see how you have that many followers and nobody. I mean, I know there's a lot of fake followers.
Yeah, that's a lot of fake followers. Look, I mean, there are accounts that get a ton of engagement, and then there are accounts that have very little, even though they have a lot of followers. Sometimes that's because they had a tweet go viral, and everybody followed them because of that tweet. And then after that, there was nothing worse shit that came out of their feed, so that happens. But look, I mean, you'll see there are other influencers with lots of followers that have a ton of engagement on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I said, people are building their entire businesses based on their persona on Twitter. So anyway.
I just don't know. Look, did I mute myself?
No, you're good.
Oh, no. Okay. To me, it has, I have to be careful with it, because if I just sit there scrolling through it, and I'm killing time, all of a sudden, 45 minutes have gone by. But I don't come out of it in any kind of zenned out space. Let's put it that way. Ready to take the next thing. Usually are coming out of there with some heavy emotions flying, whatever, or a suppression of them. But exactly. I do notice I learn so much from different people. And the ones that I don't like that are just talking stupid shit, I just block. Not because I don't want to, because I don't want to see it, because I think it's useless. I just don't care. I get my opinions from other places, not necessarily Twitter, but Twitter fills in the knowledge gaps in there, which I kind of like. But it has to be, people that know what they're talking about somewhat, or you better be listening to 25 people and create your own opinion. That's the only downside I see. But other than that, the bullying, the storming, all of that, the coordinated bot attacks, that to me, I think that's something that you can't take that personal. Exactly. You just gotta block everybody and move on, or, just ignore it. Yeah. And that's the downside. Now, if you don't have thick enough skin, and I don't particularly go out there lobbing flame balls at people, but I do throw a little tongue in cheek stuff out there occasionally. And I don't get rage attacked by it. I actually get some engagement. So I think that there's a lot of value here. I just think people either hate Musk so much, or, hate the Trump ban so much, or hate the supposed, I just can't even say this with a straight face, but, liberal domination of Twitter, end quote, it's just not there. And so to me, I think it just has to get to that next level where all the animosity is gone. And then people can just argue.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or discuss.
Discussed. Coin Center has analyzed Senator Warren's bill, and this just came out. And I love their headlines. I love Coin Center. Give Coin Center money. If you haven't given Coin Center money, give them money. They have a really cool Bitcoin t-shirt they'll send you, which is fucking awesome. I have 3 of them. I love them. The Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act is an opportunistic, unconstitutional assault on cryptocurrency self-custody developers and node operators.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look, freedom of privacy, Castle Doctrine, all that stuff. Whatever happened to all this stuff?
Yeah.
We're supposed to have, privacy.
Well, and by the way, Senator Warren, if you start fucking knocking around with privacy and constitutional rights issues, you do know why that was a Supreme Court decision to protect privacy. It was interracial marriage. So, go ahead, Senator Warren. You want to take that on? Good luck with that. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I don't even remember what amendment it is, but I think it's the 4th Amendment in the Bill of Rights, maybe, is the right to privacy. Of course, it was originally written to keep British soldiers from, quartering your house and coming in and saying, I'm living here now. But, it's expanded over the years to mean general, in your house is your domain.
Well, it was up to dispute the whole idea of full privacy, right to privacy, right? It was only your property, but it was encoded is the wrong word. But the Supreme Court validated the actual basic right to privacy based on interracial marriage back in the 50s. So everything's
always gray, though. You're right. It's always a sliding scale. Everybody's trying to interpret different things. But
yeah, Shizzy says Senator Karen is the absolute worst. Dude, you're not kidding.
That's great. I hadn't heard anybody say that before. I love it.
All she needs is the haircut. She'll be good. So, yeah. All right, dude, let's wrap it up. I got shit to do.
Me too, man. Me too. Look, Fed's coming out at 2:30. I think everybody's expecting 50. I think it's a non-event. Guides it after that, or yeah, I think it's 2:30, right? Yeah. Whenever it comes out later today. Look, it's just going to lead to the same thing that's already going on, which is I think we're going to hit a pause here, and maybe a quarter point next quarter or something like that. But I think everybody's watching because the work's having its effect on the drivers of inflation. So that's the big thing to me, this week. But obviously all the other stuff have FXS and SBF, and now this Senator Karen legislation. I mean, to me, it's stuff to be watched, but I do feel like we're coming out of it. To me at this point, I mean, Bitcoin's up, ETH's up. I mean, what's Bitcoin's almost to 18, right?
It's over 8. It was over 18 when we started the show.
That's right. It was. So, I mean, ETH's above 1,300, I believe.
Yes.
So, we got stuff moving. So, stay confident here. This is not the time to be panicking. It's just to watch and take good opportunities.
Everything's coming up green, Joe. Look at that. It's your magic touch, man. Look, we don't get down to Monero's down. Serum's down.
Yeah.
Hedera's down. Everything else is
but Phantom's been moving nice. I've been noticing a lot of intention at OKX again. They're kind of trying to raise their marketing profile. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on.
Well, and they're not KYCing, by the way. You can go in there without KYC and remove, I think it's a deposit or remove 50 Bitcoin a day. So
only 50?
I think 50. I know, Joe. I know it's a restriction.
50 each? Damn.
Yeah. I know it's
a
restriction.
I mean, maybe
Canto
50
is down. Is Canto down? I haven't even looked at Canto.
It has been down a little bit in the teens. I haven't really looked at it last week, though.
1.74% in the last 24 hours. 30 days down 21%. It's at 14. I'm good with that. I'm good with that because I'm printing it. Look, I've been getting between 300 and 1,400% on Canto. Oh, by the way, I interviewed the original contributing founder of Canto last night, Scott Lewis, and that's going to hit next Tuesday, that episode.
Oh, good. So, excellent.
Really good interview. I love the way this guy thinks. I love why he's doing what he's doing and why he built Canto. And we talked about some of the things that have kind of come out of it because from his approach, he's very much a incentives tokenomics kind of guy. Like that's what he does. And we talked a lot about how some of the experiments he's done launching Canto have turned out mostly successful. And he admits fully going in that he wasn't even sure the shit was going to work the way he hoped it would. So Canto's a big experiment. Everybody treat it like that. But, in these early months, the yields are going to be very strong from the lending protocol. And, I'm just stacking up Canto. So,
well, look, the people who I've seen make the most money in crypto over the last 6 years are the ones who get into a protocol like this early and then never sell.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it with one of the guys at Doki last year or the year before, where he's got in early and banked those 600% yields for months, and the it was the liquidity pools. Yeah. And I mean, this guy got up over. I mean, I've heard numbers higher than $50 million from $250,000. And, I'm sure he's given a lot of that back since then. But still, that's the way you do it. Now, I don't know. I mean, we know one of these guys, and now Paul Lewis. This is one that, I don't have a lot. I have some. But, it's the type of thing. It's like the other ones, that you find in these like low digits. And you just hold them. And then eventually, hopefully, it pops one day. So I'm a big firm believer in the early stuff for the next cycle. And Canto, let's not forget, fully decentralized, right, Brad?
Yeah. I mean, look, there are some issues with, I don't want to completely say that. I mean, look, the contributors.
I guess there's no absolute. Yeah.
The founding contributors have big chunks of tokens right now. So they basically can control governance if they want to. They're not necessarily doing that, but there's a long way to go. We talk about that on the show. Niblets asked how I was getting to 1,400%. Niblets, I'm taking even more of a chance with a protocol that came out of one of the hackathons called Y2R.finance, and they just do frequent compounding on the lending automated. So Y2R.finance, it's on the screen right now, and you can see the screen of it. Currently, Canto Notes sitting at 844%, and the Canto lending mechanism on the root DEX is sitting at Let me tell you. Hold on 1 second. Canto note is sitting at I think like 290%. Last week I was getting, for at least a week and a half, I was getting 12 to 1400% printing Canto. And then I'm just dividing it up. I'm taking 25% back into this because I don't know anything about the founders of Y2R, and 75% I'm putting back into the lending protocol. And then I've got staking going on. And so on the staking protocol, I'm just compounding staking constantly. It's only paying 27%, but I like to keep
well, Brad, when it's paid, that 27% is the APR or the APY?
That APR? I believe it's APR. Hold on.
Yeah, because then you're using your compounder to compound that like every hour, let's say, and that takes it up to probably in the 700% range is my guess.
Yeah, APR is 27.223%. Yeah, and I'm compounding that every couple of days. So
every couple of days. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, guys, just Google up a compounding calculator on the internet. They're everywhere. And then you basically put that APR in at 27% and then run scenarios over a year. If it was compounded every hour, what would happen? Right. If it was every day. Well, we did this two summers ago. We were doing it a lot.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing it much lately. But there's so many ways to accelerate it, and you just got to let it sit.
Shizzy says, how can you get rich if you never sell? Laughing out loud. I will eventually sell. This is a project. I just believe in the experiment. And so for me, it's like, look, if it succeeds, cool. I'll have a ton of value and I'll sell off some later. And there's all these kinds of, if you look at, they're doing monthly hackathons, and so far 3 hackathons in has not disappointed with people actually innovating and building really cool shit for this chain. And that says a lot to me. And the mechanism, the revenue sharing mechanism that's coming into play, they just finished the first audit. They're doing the fixes from the audit. So I think they're probably a month or 2 away. But the model is this: if you deploy a protocol on Canto that doesn't charge fees, it's only the gas fees, the Canto gas fees, you will get a percentage of the revenue coming out of all of the transactions that your protocol, the gas fees that your protocol creates. And the cool thing about it is, you, as a developer, you can deploy a protocol, have a revenue stream, you'll get an NFT, and there'll be a mechanism to borrow against the NFT so you can start another protocol, right? So I like the whole incentives align. I like, you don't have to deploy a protocol without fees. You can have fees on your protocol. It's not required, but I like the incentive alignment for it. So for me, this is just a big experimental play. I like what they're doing. And it's highly risky. It may fail completely. It's a brand new blockchain. It's only 5 months old. But for me, I like the ethos of it. I like what they're trying to accomplish. I like getting rid of rent seeking. I like the idea of having engines that are part of the layer 1. And so for me, it's a big experiment. If it succeeds, yeah, maybe I make some nice money. If it fails, I don't have anything to lose because I just like it. Yeah. Izzy says, yeah, I have been accumulating. The 25% of developers is amazing. You'll see a lot of EVM devs coming over. I think so too. And I think the cool thing about it is it's not just the 25%. There are a lot of kind of EVM devs out there that get this idea of no rent seeking and would love to deploy a protocol that didn't do it, but also made them money. And to me, that's why I like the model. So
this is essentially knocking out an expense and adding a revenue stream for everybody who would launch on this protocol.
Yeah, essentially, you're saying to you're saying to your users, you don't have to pay anything to use this except for the normal gas fees that the network would charge you, because I want to create something cool that people can use without having to pay extra fees just to use it. And then I get 25% of the gas fees that get generated from using it, right? As a developer.
I like that.
Yeah. And then I can borrow against future fees, future gas, via an NFT to build something else. So I want to hire a developer. I want to, do some marketing. I want to grow it, whatever. And the other thing that this does then is it says, well, look, the more money I make more money, the more people are using my protocol. So anything I can get to get more people into Canto and into my protocol, I'll do it. Right. So now the community is aligned, the developers are aligned.
Yep.
Chain is aligned. So I like it. I like the experiment. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. There are plenty of experiments to go put your money into. I wouldn't put any money into Canto that you're not, afraid to lose,
or you don't want to lose.
That you're exactly.
Or that you can't lose. You don't want it.
For me, it's just a fun thing. I also got a big airdrop because I helped them in the test net. So I got a big airdrop from that. And so I'm playing with that money as well. I haven't added a ton of my own money, but I like it. So
yeah, look, it's the kind of thing you bet on, basically, and on execution. And the difference here is instead of just going and like throwing a dart at a board of token listings and going, oh yeah, Dick token, this is one where Brad's interviewed these guys and has talked to them. And I'm not saying that's a validation of anything that they could do, but it's not a black box of who's in there. Yeah. He has somewhat of an inclination, or the market has somewhat of an inclination of who's in there, and their reputations that precede them on this. So that's the kind of thing that we try. It's a critical thing in crypto. It's also the hardest thing to do because you don't have like what was that group for equities, like advisory board or shareholder advisory board, where they rate the management teams and vet them and do due diligence. This is as close as you can get to that in crypto. So I think that's one of the things why Brad likes it so much.
Absolutely. All right, dude. Well, I'm out.
Me too. We got to go.
Niblets, Shizzy. Just Niblets and Shizzy today, right? Niblets and Shizzy, thank you for participating. Love you and appreciate you. Glad you're here. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, subscribe. Make sure you get the latest episodes. If you're listening on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. Give us a little boost in the algorithm so more people find out about us. Subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notified when a new episode's coming out. I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. Joe, I hope you have one as well.
You too, buddy. And thanks, everyone. Should be exciting this afternoon, and we'll catch up on it tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You too, man. Later.
Yeah, thanks.